Well, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Wrenching Wrecked. We are up here on a Sunday afternoon, and I think I'm going to start messing around with the brake stuff on this. This bike is so close to being done, but it's just so far down on the priority list. But since it has been sitting here forever, I do think I want to go through this. I forgot I did go through and actually set up the wheel spacers on this thing, but we have some major sprocket alignment issues. So this is sitting here. This needs to be about here with that motor. So I hate the cold up here because my batteries are cold. They're along the outside wall. Anyways, we're about an inch off on the sprocket alignment. I was going to add some spacers and shift this sprocket over. It's a mini bike. I wouldn't do it on a big twin or on a chopper, a road bike, but something for putzing around the grass. Not that worried about it, but I also thought about it. And you can get motor mount plates for these for cheap, like cheap, 15, 20 bucks for an adjustable one. I went on Amazon, I found one of those. It'll kick this up a little bit height-wise, but it'll let me move those bolts over, I think. I'm not a mini bike guy. This is just kind of a background mess around thing. Motor is brand new, never been fired, never even had oil in it, so I'm not overly concerned about runnability. But the standstill we hit was the brakes. So I did put a disc brake on here. Here's the caliper. I split it from the master cylinder. Again, cheapo Amazon, $20 parts or something. But we need to make a mount for this. So we're gonna do this together. And there's a good chance that I might lay this out and it won't work because I'm not big on planning and making templates and all of that. We're just gonna try and figure some way to make this mount onto here. So if we set the caliper up here, we have 2-bolt mounting plate down here that are threaded. So we need bolts for that. And then this guy will slide on here. And we want this somewhere in this general proximity, I think. So we got 2 options. I do have a bolt that I can make a little bracket here that'll come like a 90 off of this tab on the swing arm here. Hopefully you guys can see that. So it'll go over and bend over, and then that'll bolt in there. And then we also have an axle spacer right here that I thought about welding a piece of steel to triangulate that. So we can do one off of the axle spacer coming up. I don't know how good of an idea that is. Or we can make a U bracket, but I kind of like the idea of having something come up off of the axle spacer. I don't know. I think we might try it and see what happens, and then trial and error. If it breaks down the road, it's a mini bike. Who needs brakes anyway? Oh well. Do not ask that question to people at the chopper barn last year. If you were here, you know. But that's what we're gonna start messing with. So let me grab some steel bits and try and figure out a way to do this. I mean, there's so many options here. But realistically, I just need something to hold this caliper stationary in this general vicinity. I kind of like the idea of doing a little bracket off of this that'll bolt in, and then I don't have to worry about welding anything on here. And then if I weld a bracket off the axle spacer, then, you know, we won't have to ruin this powder coat. Let me grab some metal, leave some stuff out, and see if we can come up with something on this. Okay, found some thick steel flat stock. But I think what we can do is get some rough cuts going here. This will come up to about here. Strict eyeball methods here. No measuring, no nothing. Not yet, at least. But I think if I'm gonna cut this here, we'll get this sawed or cut off. Then we can at least get that close. I'll grind a little notch in here, put that around this spacer. We'll get that welded up, loosen the axle, then I can shift that spacer up to where it needs to be. Line that up, center it, drill a hole. Hopefully that should work. So let me go to our new temporary vise, maybe. That'd be nice. It's not even bolted down yet, but we're not really doing much in terms of needing a ton of strength here. Yeah. I got all the welding table stuff and all these big bits, but they really don't help all that much with space. I gotta put some stuff on wheels. Anyways, we'll chuck this up here, fire up the grinder, cut this down just so it's more manageable. Saw that coming. Thing sounded dead as soon as I turned it on. Quick battery flop here. Saw that cutting on the ironhead. Okay. Maybe I can lay this out and just cut some grooves in there with the flap disc. Try and get some sort of internal radius here. Come on, 2 for 2? 2 different grinders, 2 different dead batteries. Great job planning and charging your stuff last time. Whoops. All right, at least we got 2.5 on both of these now. Okay, now there's definitely cleaner ways to do that. You can chuck this up on a big piece, put it in the drill press, use a hole saw, but mini bike things. We're just going down dirty quick today. Ooh, this thing's getting hot. So, this, in theory, we could take a little more out of the middle of that. Dang. I need a longer piece. I screwed that one up. Shit. Here's where it sits on the axle. That's where we want it. That ain't gonna be long enough. Back to the drawing board. Luckily, we don't have much time involved in that, so should not be that big of a deal. When I cut that initial one, I should have factored in that I was gonna be cutting that bevel, so that did take a good amount out. Let's leave this on the long side now. We'll get the lower shaped tacked up, and then we'll kind of lay out where it's gonna land. I mean, I guess technically that might move a little bit. We'll see. Cut, grind, repeat. Or plan things better and have some sort of idea what you're actually doing instead of just winging it. Just in a wing it sort of mood today. Less planning is a little bit faster. Or slower when you redo it. But the main inspiration for all of this now is really just, I need this bench. I need that lift. I'll show you. We got a Honda in here. I know. I don't like him either. But somebody's willing to pay to get some stuff done, so we'll go over that at the end of this. Definitely not the prettiest in the world, but perfect for what we need, I think. Let's try this again. Hopefully I left enough there. Looks like we took about 1/4 inch off of this. Yeah, I like that much better. Okay. So now we can actually, I'm just gonna weld this to the spacer, I think, preemptively. So I'll put a mark there, and a mark here. And realistically, as long as that's somewhere close, we should be okay. And it's a through bolt that's gonna go through here. It doesn't have to be a threaded piece or anything like that. So I should have plenty of room to kind of clean up the top edge of this as we progress. But if I put that there, we end up in a pretty good spot. shit. I actually need to just weld a line on there. I made a line there to put these together, and now I'm realizing that I need what width this thing's gonna need to be at. Come on, get through. We need a better Sharpie line. We have 4 spacers, I think, plus that one. Where the hell did that spacer just go? Literally just had it in my hands. Where's my bracket? Ah, right there. All right, just resetting this up one more time. Sorry, I'm trying to hold spacers in place. Not really explaining all that much here. There we go. All right, so we're flush on the bearing on that side. That's just gonna work just fine. Reset up our caliper here. Put on our new plate. It's our bad one. Get that out of the way. This guy can go right here, and I'm gonna hold this right there. You know, I wonder if we can actually just tack this right here. There's not a lot of room. Yeah, you know what? I think we're gonna do that. Tack this up first, maybe? I need a real short bolt. Maybe we'll drill a hole so I can get this bolted into the caliper. Before we weld it to the spacer. So, just put a Sharpie mark roughly where that screw is. I don't even know what size that is. Looks like metric, unfortunately, and if it is, we're gonna have a problem trying to bolt anything into this. We'll dig through some bins and see what I got in terms of hardware up here for this. I would assume it's gotta be metric, but I just can't tell. Okay, let me drill a hole in this. We'll be right back. From the drill press, just drilled one hole right there. And I found some oversized hardware metric in the bin. So what I'm gonna do is come back to the mini bike brake setup here, and we will throw one bolt in through here. Obviously it's gonna be way too long, but at least get this started so it kind of holds it closer to where it needs to be. Then set this guy on here, shim this up, just like that. Gets us kind of close to where we need to be. Then let's take a look what we need over here. I don't know how much you can see, but there's a bolt here. It's got to go connect over there. So let me grab some thinner material and see if I can come up with something that we can either put a longer bolt through here, and then we'll have a spacer on that side, kind of something like this. That'll bolt through. And then we can just run one little tab off of that, I think. A couple options. Or do I go crazy and put one on the swing arm? It's gonna be a rigid mount, so. Oh, you know what? Actually, this little Harley tab might work that I just had sitting on the bench. I wonder if I was thinking about that before and totally forgot. It looks like I could actually take this bolt out. If I trim down a little bit of here, off of here, this might line right up on that caliper. I'll just have to put another hole here. I don't know if you guys can see any of that, but essentially, take this bolt out, put this in here, boom, boom, boom. And then we might just need a little bit of a spacer. Let me trim off the top corner of this. All about reusing stuff if we can, and it's slotted so it gives me a lot of room. Let's shave some of this thing down. So we're going this way. We need this top corner off. Where did I put my glasses this time? Probably still on my head because I keep losing everything today. Okay, and we can rough eyeball to see where this needs to be when we get over there. Okay. I think that's actually going to work out really friggin' well. Now I just got to roughly see where this thing's going to have to bolt in for our through bolts. This is one of those things. I've taken so long not doing this that it's not hard. It's just a matter of figuring out where everything's gonna go. But to be able to have the time to just sit here and tinker is really, really difficult. So that right there should work. I'm just trying to see where this falls. I'm guessing. So I marked the top of this. I'll guesstimate roughly where the hole is. Again, if it's a little oversized, that's okay. It's mini bike things. If we do all bolt in, we shouldn't have to weld anything. Right? Worst case, if I need to extend or slot this, we can with the carbide, but I think, excuse the crappy drill press table that I'm currently working with as well. I meant to bring over like a set of jaws for this thing. Just keep forgetting. Even a cheapo one. I don't need anything nice. Close enough. Hopefully that's lined up, or else this is gonna lock up when it hits the table. This is totally being eyeballed as well, so not really sure what we have going on the back side of that swing arm bracket. But should get us close. I don't even know what size bolts in there. Let's take a look, and we'll trim the wings off, those sharp bits. We won't need those once we actually go to assemble. But how the hell did I do this? All right, metric tools. Down. Are you a 13? I don't think I have enough room. 12, hopefully. $13 it is. It's really on there. Who tightened these? 13 seems big. Oh boy. Half inch? Did I put standard hardware in here? Better yet, did Dottie put standard hardware in here? How in the hell did we do this? It feels really loose. Jesus, bike is not that stable. Ugh. Okay, that's really friggin' tight. I don't know why. Well, we got her, one way or another. Okay. Now, if we put our fancy new bracket in here, didn't even grind that down. Be right back. Cut the wings off, like we just talked about. Now, let's see how lucky we're gonna get. This bracket's very hot still. I'm gonna need a slightly longer bolt, which I think we'll just throw some standard hardware in. 5/16. Should work fine. All right, standard hardware here should go a little bit better. Whew, hot side. Now, the one nice part is if this is remotely close, I got a little bit of room on that slotted piece from where the caliper needs to be. Just trying to take some of the tension off. We don't have to go full tighten yet, but we got enough to just kind of hold this bracket in place like that. Slide this guy on. Huh. Might actually work. So that'll work. We just need a little bit of a spacer in between there. Can you guys see any of this? I can't tell. Here's the threaded hole. We found another M8 bolt. So this is threaded in now. Nope, that's not metric. This one is. So this will work. We'll just need to stack some washers or something in between here. Maybe make a little spacer. Do I go fancy and actually make a spacer though? How do I measure in there? There's no room. 1 pinky's worth? Seems accurate. Let me grab some washers and try and see if I can get that in and tighten it down a bit. So I got a stack of washers just because I don't have the right metric hardware. I'll grab some next time I go to the store. We got the bracket bolted in to the rigid strut. This is going to go on through here with a couple washers just to keep it off of that rotor. Then I'm going to do a quick little stack of washers on the back here. Now technically, I could weld something up to this as my spacer instead of doing it this way. But since we're still in mock-up phases, I can get all of these brackets cut, made, bolted in, and then measure what we take off instead of trying to sit here cutting a spacer right now, which sounds terrible. So this is threading in. Found one rusty M8 bolt up here. And I should be able to tighten this without hitting the brake. Oh man. Yeah, I got plenty of clearance there. That's tightened down-ish. Not full snug, but I got plenty of meat before it's gonna hit the rotor. Oh yeah, plenty of clearance for the bolt there. So that could go full tighten. This bracket's still loose. And now we have a much better idea as to what needs to happen where we're gonna weld that bracket to the spacer. Now we at least have 1/2-inch hardware in here, so it's easier to work on. For me. And it's mini bike stuff. They're supposed to be thrown together with whatever you have laying around, right? So that's locked in, that's locked in. This feels okay. It's not gonna be pretty, but realistically, now I should have enough room. We're gonna use the Yes welder too, cheapo budget welder. No sense in using nice expensive stuff. I'll take these spacers out so I got a little bit more room, and hopefully we can do this without burning through the powder. Otherwise, I'm gonna get yelled at. Not that it's gonna maintain being nice for very long. Okay. Come on, muscles. Axle up and through. As long as this spacer's flush against the bearing, we can cue this guy up. You know what? Actually, this might work better this way. All right, we're gonna rotate that. I'm just gonna pull this spacer out and weld it. We can shim a bit around that, but it's gonna be much easier if we do it this way. Now that I'm looking at this. So this to this, burn it in with some booger welds and call it good. I think that sounds like a plan. So here, it's too high. Make a little ramp here of sorts. What do I got for thin metal? Basically, I'm just trying to shift this up to get it kind of close to center on here. All right, everything I got over here is too thick. Motor mount plate. Still too thick. Let me find some washers. This steel plate's thicker than I want it to be. Let's try 2 washers. Oh yeah. That looks like it'll work. And this stuff's way too dirty for TIG. Is it? Yeah. Yeah, I don't care. Could clean that up. That's probably actually much better to TIG weld. And I could actually use the table, which I never get to do. But that's okay. Manual MIG. Let's see what the old yes welder wants to do today. Where is my ground? Don't love that. Not the welds, but the way that shifted. I mean, it doesn't matter. At all. Well, it shouldn't matter, other than, yeah, this thing actually seems like it welds pretty well. For not knowing what settings I'm using and just kind of guesstimating on these, didn't seem too bad. That'll do-ish. I'm sure if I took some time and actually tested some of the settings on there, this would work a little bit better. Okay. Do need to do a little bit of grinding on here, though. Since this shifted a little bit. I didn't fixture anything or attempt to make that any cleaner, but where did I put my glasses this time? find my glasses for the 1900th time, and we'll be back. Found my glasses exactly where I left them, right underneath the bike that we were just working on, and didn't think to actually check on the lift. So I'm just gonna knock this down on the high edge of the weld. I think I had the wire feed a little high. But we're talking about mini bike stuff, so it really shouldn't matter. If we get lucky, I'll find myself a rattle can of some color over there. There I have it. See how poorly this is gonna fit now and ruin all the drilling and machining that we've done so far. Machining. Looks like it's a little crooked too, so that might actually affect it a tiny bit. Okay. That can dangle. This will go up here. I don't know how hot this is, so I'm trying not to burn myself here. Where did my stack of washers go? This might actually work out. Just looking at the bracket and the spacing to try and figure out where I need to add some shims here. Let's go 2 on the back, and then 2 on the front. Seems like a nice start. Ooh, that is warm. That is warmer than I wanted it to be. One, 2, and let's get 2 more in here. It's kind of nice coming out here on a Sunday to noodle around with this, because next weekend I think I'm booked up on a mobile job, weather permitting, which you never actually know. As of right now, the forecast looked good for that, but Midwest problems. Shit, I'm about to lose the bike. Come on. All right, we got 2 in. Need 2 more spacers in here. Watch, just wrestling. 1's easy. 2's tight because the wheel's not hooked up. Should we just go for 1? Jesus Christ. What the hell happened? This thing keeps tipping on me now. I was not doing that before. Well, I think still tight on the left side. Where is my bolts? I think this is actually going to work. And I think that little bend I put in here on accident, welding it, somehow helped us. That never happens. Let me find some nuts or oversized hardware that I can thread onto this, and then see if, or maybe even get lucky and find a shorter M8. But I think that should be about it. We'll be back when I find some hardware. So I found 2 3/8 bolts. Just stacked them for now. But that gets us close enough with 2 washers. Now we can actually tighten these. Look at that. This thing's rock solid. Did I tighten this? A little bit of rub in there. What are we hitting? Snug up our axle nut, see how much play we have here. So as I'm snugging this down, you guys see that? This bracket's kind of coming out on an angle. I need another spacer on the back, and then this will sit up flush on the outside. That should straighten us out a little bit, I think. We're experimenting together. You can come up a little bit, like so. Come on, Axel. Like that. Is it hitting the caliper somewhere? There we go. That. Where's my fancy bolt? All right, that one's kind of tightened down now. How's that looking on your end? That looks a lot closer than it was. Don't know how true this rotor is. GoPro's dying, so we're gonna wrap this one up pretty soon here. I got everything tightened down now on these bolts. This is tight, this is tight. It's still kind of grazing the rotor, but we also need to seat the pad. So I'm gonna call that good for now. We'll come back in a little bit. All I'm gonna do is hook up this line and try and re-bleed this quickly. But I'm pretty happy with that. I'll put the axle in, tighten that down. I think we should be good. Worst case, I just gotta shim it over a little bit more. At least it's mounted. So I'll throw a new battery in. This is gonna be a fun one. Here's the master. These are set up for 7/8, not 1 inch, because you don't put Harley bars on your mini bike. We're gonna have to get a little creative. I think I have a 1 inch drill bit up here. It's aluminum, so it shouldn't be too bad. Yeah, we'll do that and then try and drill this out on the vise. Fingers crossed, hopefully we don't break anything. Let's see. Oh man, this was dumb. Come on. What could go wrong? I actually don't know if there's enough meat for this. Oh, let's talk about sketchy. Maybe we'll go in series. Woo! As we almost break the GoPro. We'll take this in steps. Let's get you set up on the vise over here. Let me find some drills with a battery because this is going to use a lot of power. What are we starting with here? 7/8? 7/8 drill bit through aluminum on a clamped housing. I think we already broke something. That's what I was worried about. I don't really have a good fixture rig for this. God, this is terrifying. Get some of this crap out of here so I can get on top of it. Okay, round one. 2 or 3 more of these to go. I lost something in there. I don't know what. Like a little spring clamp or something, maybe. I saw something fall out. All right, 15/16, round 2. Man, that first one worked so well. Ooh, my poor ribs. Oh, Jesus Christ, this thing's kicking my ass. Such a little amount of material, too. So close. So close. Got about an 1/8 inch left on this one. Any suggestions? Better ideas? I mean, I'm gonna keep powering through this until my drill breaks. Down to just that last little seam. Thing's beating the crap out of me. Whew. Do not recommend doing this. This is a terrible idea. Luckily, I have tools that I don't really care all that much about. We're getting there. I mean, I could take a carbide to this too, I guess, huh? Be way easier. Why don't we stop there, pop this off, see what it looks like on the bars. So let me grab some 8mm, pop these apart and see what it looks like. We're at 15/16, we're at 15/16 through here now. I don't know how accurate that is, given, you know, taking a grinder to it and all. God, that's so close. Do I fight this again with the 1-inch bit, or do I just grab the carbide that's right there and cheat it a little? Yeah, we're close. It's really friggin' close. Carbide would be a lot easier. Throw these bolts back in. Not as clean, but it will be easier. I think that's probably what I'm gonna do. Thing kicked my ass. Punched myself in the ribs with the drill about 4 times. My drill definitely needs a break. Let's fire up the carbide. Don't really have a good way to do this. That was fun. Kicked, and I think I just killed my grinder. Yeah. Neat. Well, we opened up one side. Back to the drill it is. Hopefully that little gouging might make it a little easier. I don't want to set up another die grinder. And this was working so well before. Here goes nothing. This might actually work a little bit better. That was 15/16, and now the big boy. Sorry, Harbor Freight drill. Carbide definitely helped getting us started here. Come on. Whew. Another 1/4 inch. Smell the burning drill. Oh. Jesus Christ. Sorry, drill. That was terrifying. But I think that should work now. See if we get lucky. Don't do things like that with the router or the drill. They're not meant for it. Oh, can't even loosen these bolts with my right hand. Now, the nice thing about these is they come with a very long brake line, which is almost perfect for running a rear brake off of a handbrake setup. Even this aluminum got a little warm. It's like they wanted me to do this. Oh, man. Well, I guess this is going to be a left side brake. Seems to be the way they're making me orient to this. It's unplanned. Never checked that. Oh. Come on, you. Okay. I think it's gonna work. Okay. There we go. Now, never actually checked that before, but hopefully this is long enough. I'd have to get a little crazy with the routing. Which way do we want to go here? Down and across. Through all these lines and cables and doodads. And how does this land on here? Man, it's almost like we made a little pocket just for this brake line. Like I planned that. It tightens. I might be in business here. A couple zip ties up the frame. I think there might even be enough room to turn this. If not, we'll be ordering some brake line. It's easier to change the brake lines than it is going to be anything else. 8 mil for the bleeder as well, it looks like. And now we just need some fluid and a chair to get up there. Hopefully I got some brake. Yeah, I do. Never know in terms of fluids what I got going on up here because everything's transient and moving. what did I use it on last? Like that Cowie when we did the KZ and spilled all of it on the ground. Unfortunately, do I want to lower this? I'm not tall enough. Check underneath your bench before you start dropping it like that. I did not. Almost caught some stuff. All right, what do I need? Screwdriver and brake fluid. I'll try and bleed this thing. Get some brake juice in. And probably cue time lapse because there's no good way to film this. But it is all brand new, so unless I broke something integral or something important, this shouldn't be too bad. Pre-bleed the line. So I'm loosening up the banjo bolt on the rear. We'll get it bled to the end of the brake line first, maybe. Haven't fully decided on there yet, but now that that's off, I got the banjo line pinched. And closer, I'm down at the bottom of the bubble in the sight glass too. Definitely keep an eye on those things when you're doing this. Now, I'm just gonna put this brake hose back on. As quickly as possible without leaking a ton of fluid all over the brand new powder. I mean, that'll wash off. You just gotta hit it with water. Don't leave wet brake fluid on your stuff. That'll make for a really not good time. Brake line's hooked back up. I'm guessing we lost a good amount of fluid there. Yeah, pretty much dry. Not completely, but close. Just in the course of trying to get that all topped off. Made quite a little mess. Okay, we'll be back when I'm done doing this. This is taking forever and it's boring. I'm still here. I'm still doing this. It's been about 15 minutes of pumping. My hand's killing me, but I finally have full pressure here. So I got like 2 more attempts. I can no longer hold the handlebar or pull the lever to the handlebars. But I want to get maybe 2 more pumps. Looked like a little more air shot out of that now, but holy crap. I don't know how firm it's gonna be. Like, this is actually more brake than I would actually need on this. It's gonna be really easy to lock this back wheel up. Unfortunately, it'll be fun until you start sliding down the hill on accident. All right, this is the last one we're gonna bleed, then I'll top it off and cap it and show you. Oh man, now I got brake fluid on all of my tools and all of my stuff. The worst. But we got brakes. It's as far as I can go. That's tight. And the side's got a parking brake, I guess. I think that's what that's for. A little brake lock. Let's top this off a bit. Man, Dottie's gonna be thrilled when I tell her that that's finally done. She was jamming on this thing for so long. I mean, granted, the kitchen remodel pretty much put both of us on pause from anything. She was doing a pretty good job on this until I changed the design and said we need brakes, and the drum brake wheel that I had was messed up and broken. Well, I might have broken one of them. The drum brake plate, I think cracked. But those brakes were shot and it never worked before anyway. Ordered 2 sets of pads, couldn't find the right ones. Even the ones with the measurements that were proper didn't seem to work. So, putting a disc on here should be a little better, I think. We're not gonna be racing it or anything, I don't think. Just something to mess around and hurt myself on. But there we go. Left side brake. Look. Yeah, there's no way I'm turning that. So I'm gonna grab my tools and stuff that I don't want brake fluid on, put those in a pile to clean up. And where'd my squirt bottle go? Well, there we have it. Now I just gotta wait for that motor mount plate. I'll yank the motor bolts, there's only 4 of them. Loosen those up, put the plate on. Hopefully that'll give me enough to shimmy that over, set the chain. Then I think we're ready to put some fluids in this. I know Dottie wants to wire up some lights, but we don't need that for running. Everything else should be good. Maybe tighten up the knot a little bit farther on that. I know we tweaked that a little and I couldn't get it back as tight as it used to be, but throttle's still working. I'll have to fix that cable there, tighten that one down. Oil, fuel, wrap. Thanks for watching. I know that's kind of a long little winded mini bike video that you guys really haven't seen, but I know it's been up here, so I figured I'll at least throw one video out on this. Thanks for watching. We'll be back on the Sportster tomorrow. Have a good one. Catch you next time.